Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
So, I hear some defeatist in your voice. You made this happen.
I did.
Let me see. I'm going to look right now to see the exact message that you sent me. I can't find it. But you basically were just like, hey, I'm watching Genie. It's terrible. We should do an episode about it.
I don't think that's how it went. Hold on, because I do have the messages. I think you were like, I said, hey, I'm watching Genie. It's not great. And you were like, so we shouldn't do an episode on it? I'm like, I mean, we can do an episode on it. I think that's what it was. Well, mainly because my thought process, the same thing that we were saying on other episodes, is that not a lot came out this past season.
Yeah, and definitely not a lot
Christmas
that people are
stuff.
talking about. So...
There we go. I said, also finished Genie, super meh, so not worth doing an episode on. I said, I think we could definitely do an episode on it. You might like it more than I did. It goes some very strange places for no reason, and the ending made zero sense. Based on what that says, I know we haven't gotten too deep into this podcast, but would you agree with me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I put this on, and I actually paid attention for the most part, but I have some questions. First question... And maybe you remember this.
Probably not.
How does this main character come in possession of this genie in the first fucking place?
I don't think it, that box has just kind of been sitting there.
That's what I mean. I don't get where this came from. And you'd think that there'd be some big reveal later on in the movie. No, it's just...
So is he he's an art dealer, right?
Yeah.
Or was at some point. Which I'm really bummed that I feel like I haven't seen Alan Cummings in a couple of years, and I love Alan Cummings, and this is the thing that I see him in.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! I said that when it was on. I was like, Alan Cummings, and he's in this for maybe 10 minutes.
I thought the same thing. I was like, Alan Cummings, maybe he's the genie.
Yeah.
Got
you
real
didn't
hopeful.
Think that. You knew what this was about.
No, I knew what it was about. Here's the thing. Let's address the elephant in the room here.
Yeah.
Because
Go for it.
Melissa McCarthy was before she was famous, she had these incredible bit parts. I literally just rewatched Go the other day, and she appears in Go for 1 minute and is just so funny in that scene that she shows up in. She kind of becomes a little bit famous because of Gilmore Girls, and she's this,
and she's fantastic in Gilmore.
Yeah, she's just this bubbly, delightful best friend, and she's so lovely. And then Bridesmaids happens, right? Mm-hmm. And Bridesmaids is the sensation. She's absolutely perfect in that role. Mm-hmm. And then it just became the only role that she played for 10 years.
She has gotten into the part where I feel like Chris Farley was scared he was going to become.
Yes. I hate to say it like this, but the way that it's been perfectly summarized on the Adam Sandler Please Stop podcast when they're talking about Kevin James is they refer to these as fatty fall down movies. They're it's literally just the whole joke is look, it's a big person. Oop, they're clumsy. Oop, they're goofy. They're the fat friend. And that's kind of the roles that she was falling into with movies like Tammy. And it's just what is this? And then she started doing really good dramas. Yep. She appeared in some dramas and she was incredible. But the downside is that no one wanted to see dramatic actress Melissa McCarthy. So now it feels like we're on this half in, half out of the character that she used to be, where she's not as loud and gross and obnoxious, but all of the I was trying to explain this to Barb the other day, and I was it just has all the McCarthyisms. She's gonna sing and dance to a random rap song. She's it's just all the stuff that you just expect to see in her movies now.
If you like Melissa McCarthy playing typical Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, you're going to love this movie. This is going to be your favorite Christmas film of 2023. But if you're kind of over that shtick, this doesn't bring anything new to the table. I think there was one joke that I laughed at. And I laughed hard, actually. I thought it was a very good joke. I don't even remember the direct context anymore. But it was the main character is explaining to Melissa McCarthy about Jesus. And she goes, Wait, you talking about Mary's kid?
Yeah.
he's,
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he was born on Christmas. He was the Lord and Savior. And she goes, he was serious about that? It's so good. It's the best joke in the whole movie by a large margin. This movie just feels like it wastes a lot of people. Like Mark Maron is completely wasted in this movie.
Oh my God. But
he's the best character in the movie,
exactly.
but he's...
If anything, Mark Maron is the only thing I genuinely loved about this movie is because, listen, if you put Mark Maron in anything, I'm probably going to tune in at least a little bit.
It's so funny to me, and I think it says a lot about how far he's come, is like, you listen to like the first, well, now you have to pay money because that boy knows how to make money on a podcast. But you listen to like the first 100 episodes.
Is it all paid now?
I think he only gives you the 50 most recent episodes free, and you have to go through a paywall to get like the old episodes,
the archive.
But if you listen to the first like 100 episodes of WTF with Mark Maron, he is a grouchy, angry, dejected man. Like that podcast was like, he's openly said like, basically it was make a podcast or kill myself, and like I made a podcast. Like he just was like, his career was in the toilet. He had burned every bridge with every friend that he ever had, like, and he started doing this podcast where he sat down, and it literally started with like airing his grievances at his friends.
Yeah.
And in those interviews realizing how he was the person that was in the wrong most of the time. And now it's like you watch shows like this where he's able to harness. Glow is a perfect example. He's able to harness what made him
Glow
appealing.
Is so fucking good.
But you know what I mean? Like he's able to harness like the asshole that Mark Maron is, while still like getting the enlightened person that he became through. So when you see him in this, he's just like a fully upbeat, charming, nice guy. Like
love his introduction when the main character walks in and sees him, and he's like, "Hey man, they let me spruce up the place. Everybody's represented here." Yeah. And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's nice." He's like, "Man, what's wrong?" And he talks about the main character talks about this trial separation thing. Yeah. And Mark Maron just goes, "Well, dude, you want to come over? We can hang out with the cats, watch them fight. It's awesome." He went very Charlie with it. He's like, "Watch the cats fight. It's great."
Yeah. So in this particular movie, Melissa McCarthy is a genie that's helping this guy who's going through a trial separation. He's going through a trial separation with his wife and his kid. He also
have the biggest
just
issue
lost his job, like
with
all at once.
Nothing that has to do with the genie. My biggest issue is the relationship between this guy and his family.
Yes, it's
like, well, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense both with his wife and daughter, nor does it make sense with his actual blood family that shows up on Christmas morning. Like nothing really makes sense there. But then also, for whatever reason, they're just like, oh, the 3 wishes thing, like that's not real. Like you can have as many wishes as you want as long as I'm your genie. Why would you ever give up your genie? Like, like I don't understand.
It seems like they're friends. Like I mean, why just hang out? Like, and when the first time she shows up, I know we're jumping around, but like the first time she shows up, she tells him, "Listen, we can't go back in time," which makes no sense towards the end of the movie. Unless you can fix that for me, explain to me why that makes sense. But we can't go back in time, and I can't change people's feelings. So she's like, "What can we do to get your wife back here who left him?" Okay, so he's been working a lot. God damn, we talk about a lot of these movies where the husband's been working a lot.
Husband's been working a lot. I hate to say it like this. Dude got fired. Problem solved.
Yeah,
he's gonna be around now.
He's been working a lot. It's alluded that he missed Thanksgiving, and now he's missing his daughter's birthday. To which the wife is just like, "Listen, I'm going up to my mom. I'm taking the kid with me. We're just going to spend the time up there and sort some stuff out." To which I take as, okay, we're going to take a few days to ourselves and then figure out where this goes from here. She took it as, we're separated now. Like, we're on the road to getting a divorce, which I'm like, this woman went 0 to 100
already hanging out with the neighbor.
Already hanging out with a new guy, which shows up once. Yeah. Once he shows up. But back to my point. The way they're going to solve this at the beginning is Melissa McCarthy's like, "Well, let's go see her." So he goes, I wish I was there. They show up at his mother-in-law's door, and he's just fucking standing there.
Also, side note, Melissa McCarthy, you've been a genie for like 3,000 years, and you don't know to not be standing next to him when the door opens.
Yep. Like, so there's that, right? And he's like, what do I do? And of course, Melissa McCarthy does a Melissa McCarthy and is dancing and is like, you can do this. You woo them with your hips and stuff. And like you said, we got like this genie's definitely been out of the bottle in more recent times, right? Like she knows how the world works. But the woman comes over, she sees him in the window, opens the door. Why is your first thing not like, hey, this is a genie? Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to believe, I don't believe that. Okay, 1 second. Hey, I wish I had a camel. Boom. And then the camel fucking pops up again. We can move forward from this. I don't understand.
Well, that's the other thing that drives me crazy in this movie is that, like, there is no stakes. It's fine.
None.
You can just ride a magic carpet. No one gives a shit. No one needs... This isn't going to break reality that magic and genies exist. Sure, we can just send someone to hell for a little bit. Like it's just like... There's no stakes. There's unlimited wishes, which also means that there's no, like, having to really think out what your wishes are throughout the entire movie. So you're just doing them for, like, lackadaisical, weird reasons. Sure, let's just turn the football jersey into the Mona Lisa. And then somehow
what a nonsensical fucking plot point.
Oh my God. And then the firefighter just immediately is like, that must be the stolen Mona Lisa.
Like, yeah, because nobody has like a replica Mona Lisa in their house. I feel like that's the thing that most art people would probably have in their
why
house.
is this fireman just on top of the fact that there was a stolen Mona Lisa? Like, he's just like so aware, so certain. Waste of Luis Guzman. Like,
Luis Guzman's in this movie for maybe 15 minutes and playing like just a dick of a police chief.
Like that's everybody is wasted in this movie. It's so bad. And like,
it really is.
But like, everyone asked me like, is it good? And my answer was just like, it's harmless. Like this. Like it's like, it was, you know what it did? It passed 90 minutes in the background while I was like doing some shit. You know what I mean? Like, but like, it's not good. Like, it's not, the jokes don't hit. And let's jump to the ending. Cause there's a whole bunch that doesn't make sense. So he can only make wishes. There's a few things with the genie logic that's weird.
Yeah.
He can only make wishes. She has to be right there hearing him say it.
She has to be in the vicinity.
Yeah. So like with this whole, the whole prison subplot is so dumb and so quickly resolved, but like he has to like grab the microphone and through the loudspeaker make the wish so that she can hear the wish being made.
Guys, you're going to think we're leaving stuff out. We're really not. Like, I mean, this goes from, so the wife is separated with the kid, acting like they're already divorced. She's hanging out with another family and shit like that. This is like over the course of like 3 days.
3 days. It's insane. But also with the genie stuff, everything has to be to the most literal sense.
Yes.
Like literally, if you were just like, well, if you and I were fighting and I said, I wish you'd shut up, not even looking at the genie, she's just like, heard the magic word, I wish, got to make it happen. Which is, again, the problem when you take away the 3 wishes, where in any other circumstance of which a genie, unless it was a fucking monkey's paw, would be like, you sure about that wish? That's one of your 3 wishes. We got...
I wish you would shut up. I wish you wouldn't shut up.
I wish you'd go to hell. Oh no, it's all 3 wishes.
So like they're separated, and then our fucking main character and Melissa McCarthy hang out and do shenanigans and shit, and they have a friendly relationship and they fall in love in a friend way, like, and they're so happy being friends and shit like that. On Christmas Eve, this guy's entire fucking family shows up and he didn't remember?
Yeah.
What do you mean you forgot that your family was showing up?
And now he has no problem just being like, oh, this is my genie.
Yeah, this is my genie. Like, check it out. Here, do a trick.
Yeah, it's so
you could have done this at the beginning of the movie and we could have been past this.
Yeah. Well, and then we get to the end of the movie,
Yes.
and he's like, I want to use my last wish, which, again, he's got bottomless wishes.
Wait a minute. Why? So what did I miss? Why is he limited to this last wish?
So he's deciding that he's gotten everything he needs, but he's going to make one last wish. And his last wish is to set her free.
Yeah.
So that she can just live a normal life. Because you can tell that she's really into Mark Maron, the doorman.
Yeah. Is this before or after he goes back in time?
This is before.
Okay.
So this is where it doesn't make any sense. He's like, I want to set you free. And then she's like, well, here's the thing. In order to set me free, I still have to grant you 3 last wishes. And that's when he has to do these last wishes. And then she's like, by the way, like, I wasn't totally truthful about the sending you back in time thing. Like, it's not recommended, but it can be done, or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So basically, she sends him back to the beginning of the movie. It completely
Now,
flips
on.
into it's all a dream type circumstance.
So she doesn't just send him back. She gives him like a piece of paper with a code on it.
Yeah.
And he has to guess what the code is. And he figures out that the code is the date of that day that he, like, right before he got fired and shit like that. To where I'm like, why couldn't you just tell him?
Yeah.
Like, why are you making him play a game? I would be fucked.
Yeah.
I would be screwed if she's like, okay, I'm going to go fuck off. You've got these last wishes. Here's a little piece of paper with some numbers on it.
And
Use that.
my
I would be screwed.
assumption is that one of his wishes is like for her to have a pizza shop. Like
Where? Why do they own a restaurant?
yeah. Like,
At the end of the movie, Mark Maron and the Genie end up owning and working in a restaurant. Why?
yeah. There was never a moment of dialogue where Mark Maron's like, my real passion is pizzas. Like,
I really want to open up a pizza place. It literally stems from the fact that Melissa McCarthy had pizza for the first time in this movie and loved it. That's it. That is the only reason they own a pizza shop at the end of this movie.
It's so lazy. This is a movie. Here's what my theory is. This is a movie that screams writer's strike happened, actor's strike hadn't happened yet. Whatever the script says, that's what we're filming.
It literally looks like the person who wrote this did not finish writing it.
Yeah, that the strike happened, and they were like, "Well, we can't have a Christmas without some Christmas movies. Let's shoot this shit as it's written on paper."
The last thing I want to talk about is how he fixes his day.
Well, he quits his job.
He quits his job, jumps past that, and he's going to take his daughter out for dinner. They go to the opposite of what a 10-year-old would want to go to.
Yeah, a fancy-ass
on
restaurant.
Their birthday. They go to a fancy fucking like suit and tie restaurant.
So that's where his second wish comes in, because he wishes for there to be a seat for them at the restaurant.
And they get a seat. They all order their food, and she asks for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And his final wish, the last wish you have, is for this fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You couldn't like lean over to your kid and be like, "Why don't you get some chicken fingers?" Like, how about you get some chicken fingers? Like, listen, I've got one more thing planned, and if you make me listen, there might be a pony outside for you in a second. But I can't do that if I wish you have a... Well, I didn't mean to say wish! Ah! And then it all fucks up.
Actually, you know what, Dylan? Here's the thing that just popped into my head.
Yeah, what's up?
As we've learned...
Yeah.
If someone says, "Go, I wish you'd go to hell," someone's literally getting sent to hell, right?
Yes.
If you wish for the Mona Lisa, you're not getting a very good replication. It's literally that the original Mona Lisa is disappearing from somewhere else and reappearing on the wall. What happened to the people that were sitting at this table that he wished? Oh, God. He just erased a family from existence.
We have thought more about this movie than any screenwriter has ever. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, and he also, don't forget,
at all.
He doesn't use wishes here, but he does get her the dollhouse that she wanted, as opposed to like whatever weird ass ugly bear he gave her. Yeah. Well, he's
How? How did he get this dollhouse after spending all day at work? Like, because it's not like
he shows up first thing in the morning and quits. He gets all the way to the end of the day.
yeah, he's still late because remember he hands him the fucking bear.
Yeah.
Like it's still the same time. So how did he get a dollhouse in the house unless he wished for it? To which listen, if we missed a part, because I think we both have admitted that we're going off of memory of a movie that's not that fucking memorable.
No.
Unless he wished for the dollhouse, this doesn't make any sense.
No, nothing connects. It's fine.
It is mind-blowing
And heartbreaking.
how many original scripts are written every year but are never made.
So we seek out these scripts and bring them to life with full audio production and professional actors.
Check us out at Undiscovered Scripts,
Movies made of paper.
wherever you get your podcasts.
Free.
Now, hold on, because I will call you out on something.
Uh-oh.
You texted me while watching this and said, I'm sitting here crying.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? What got you to tears in this movie?
I also was very tired, but I
Okay.
think it was Melissa McCarthy after he like wishes to set her free, has like a fairly emotional scene like thanking him for his kindness. And you know me, man, if someone's telling someone else that they're a good person, I get worked up.
I get that. I get that.
I wasn't like,
during
oh,
worse
thank God
movies.
this man and his family are reunited. Like, I don't give a shit about them. I get emotional when people are telling people that they love them.
Yeah. I will say my biggest takeaway from this movie is...
And hold on a second. I want to be clear.
All right, go ahead.
I was very upset with myself that this movie even had my eyes produce tears because I was aware that they were unearned tears. They were like... I wasn't like my entire opinion shifted. This movie's a masterpiece.
They definitely got the cheap pop out of you.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
My biggest takeaway from this movie is like we need justice for Melissa McCarthy because she's so much better than this.
Yeah. Better roles for Mark Maron and Luis Guzman.
Yep. And it can be a comedy. Like I've seen Melissa McCarthy in comedies do kind of this shtick, but way better.
Yeah.
I hate that she's having to fall back on this.
Yeah.
Again.
It feels like, you know what it feels like is when a band you really like, will say, I'll use Alkaline Trio as a prime example.
Yeah.
When a band you really like puts out a really experimental album that's unique and different and the fans immediately reject it, so the next album just sounds like the same old shit that they've been putting out for years.
Yep.
And you're just like, no, like, do it. Do the damn thing. Like,
Yep.
like you're working something out. Like as much as people will dunk on like later Blink-182 records all the time. And like, I'm not the biggest fan of the self-titled album. Like, I think that there's like a lot that doesn't work there, but I actually think Neighborhoods is really good. And I think that Neighborhoods is that continuation of sticking true to your guns on like this new experimental sound and like perfecting it and refining it and giving like little breadcrumbs to like what the fans want, having a couple goofy songs, having like this, that, and the other thing. But like, I do think that sometimes if you just lean into it, it pays off. Something I always talk about.
I'm not going to go on record of saying Neighborhoods is good like you just did, but
I'll go on. I would say that Neighborhoods is in my top 5 Blank albums.
Listen, I can't stand. We're getting way off topic here, but I can't stand where
Tom's
Tom
inflections
went vocally.
Yeah,
with Neighborhoods and Dogs Eating Dogs.
But listen, I'm going to say this right now. Regardless how he sings it, regardless of anything, Ghosts on the Dance Floor is like legitimately one of the best songs that Blink has ever written. That song is fucking fantastic. But yeah, like Blink aside, my point being, like, Melissa McCarthy, you did some dramatic roles and you got like Oscar nominations for it. Mm-hmm. And like, yes, they didn't like line up in the theaters, but like, look at fucking Tom Hanks. Like, Tom Hanks did a couple dog like drama roles before he started really knocking them out of the park with Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan and like that late 90s run. Like Philadelphia was impactful, but it wasn't like the biggest financial success of the 90s by any stretch of the imagination. Like you just have to, if you want to make that shift, you have to like go all in on it and make that shift. It's kind of what's frustrating with Adam Sandler is like seeing that the dude is fully capable, if he wanted to just shift gears and be a very good dramatic actor. But it's like, if the movie doesn't do the same numbers as something else, then we get Ridiculous Six, or we, or we get like Jack and Jill, or we get him kind of reverting back to like the cheap pop, as you said, of like, what is the diehard Adam Sandler fan looking for? And they're looking for the Shabadoos. They're not looking for him doing a dramatic role.
I have wound up on IMDb.
Uh-oh.
And IMDb is probably like about as trustworthy as Wikipedia is. So I could this could totally be off base. And tell me if this is a thing that is actually happening.
Okay.
Or if this is completely made up. There's a movie being directed by Jerry Seinfeld called Unfrosted.
Yep.
The story of Pop-Tarts.
Yes.
And have you seen the cast? There's no way this cast is real.
Someone from Geekscape is in that movie.
Really?
Kate Hampton.
Yep, found her.
Yeah, Katie Hampton of the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast is in that movie. I don't know anything about it except that she spoke really highly that like Jerry Seinfeld was a very nice director.
Hey, that's awesome.
But yeah, like, that's the only reason why I know that he's making this Pop-Tart movie is that a friend is in it.
I'm just mind blown by this. Melissa McCarthy, Hugh Grant, James Marsden, Christian Slater, Amy Schumer, Max Greenfield, Jack McBrayer, Jim Gaffigan, Bobby Moynihan. Like, this is, I know they're like, it's directed by Jerry Seinfeld, so I'm sure his connections are kind of endless at this point. But what is this movie? Is this going to be a straight up like biopic on the creation of Pop-Tarts?
Who knows? Here's the thing. We're definitely in this weird era where they're just like, here's the Flamin' Hot Doritos movie.
Right? That's the first thing that popped into my head as well.
And like the problem is that apparently like all of the movies are quite good, but it's like, why do we need all of these? Like apparently the Blackberry movie, people are saying is like a contender for one of the best films of the year.
I just don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
Like I don't
will watch it. Here's the thing. I've made this promise to myself this year. We'll see if I follow through with it.
Yeah.
I do want to, because I haven't done it for the last 2 or 3 years. I do want to try to watch whatever the 10 Best Picture nominees are. If Blackberry gets nominated for Best Picture, I'll fucking watch it. Yeah. Outside of that, probably not.
I don't. The fucking Flamin' Hot Cheeto movie could be the best movie of the year, but in no world do I want to watch a movie about the creation of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Like, that doesn't. I don't care.
Yeah, this is like one of those things where I'm like,
this guy who I really love The Social Network. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing: The Social Network has a much bigger impact on society as a whole than the invention of a flaming hot Cheeto.
Like, that's very true. I still haven't watched the Tetris movie. I need to watch that.
I hear the Tetris movie is great. I'll tell you what is very, very good, and it's super short: The Man Who Saved Pinball. That movie was incredible. And that story is phenomenal. I'm not sure if you know about the story of that. So the very quick version of that story is like
Pinball, the man who saved the game.
Yeah. Pinball was illegal in the United States throughout most of the 50s and 60s because it was deemed as gambling. And this guy was one of the best pinball players in the world. So literally he had to set up a pinball machine in front of the Supreme Court and call every single shot for hours to prove that it was a game of skill, not a game of chance. But it's like telling the whole story of like how that happened. Like if you go to, there's like tons of pinball museums all over the United States. And if you go to them, every single one of them has some type of placard like thanking this guy essentially for like, we wouldn't even be able to operate if this dude didn't like fight for this so hard.
More like this. Blackberry. Flamin' Hot. That's so funny that under the movies more like this, Blackberry, Flamin' Hot. What is the Beanie Bubble?
That's about the Beanie
fucking
Babies?
Beanie Babies. Jesus Christ.
So you know what? Here's one thing. At least Genie wasn't about the history of Genie dolls. So, Dylan,
It's a thing, man.
Dylan, you're.
And again, I'm not down. Listen, I'm sure these movies are fine.
I'm sure they're great. Dylan, you're the only thing I'm wishing for.
Aw. Listen, if I had 3 wishes left, I'd consider you as one of them.
Yay!
Oh, whoa, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.